With so much of the state lined by water, it's no wonder that thousands of Floridians make their living harvesting fresh Florida seafood. They work hard to meet the demands of an increasingly health-conscious population. As the need for fresh seafood grows, Florida is continually looking for new ways to supplement the wild seafood harvests. And it's doing it through aquaculture. While aquaculture simply means farming in water, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States and a growing enterprise in the Sunshine State. It provides a wide variety of careers from biologists and botanists to divers, operation managers, and marketing professionals. And the type of products grown are just as varied as the job opportunities. Currently, Florida has aquaculture farms producing fish and shellfish for food and for bait, tropical fish and aquatic plants for aquariums and waterscape ponds, and alligators for food and leather hides. The majority of the aquaculture facilities in Florida are small, family-owned and operated businesses. While most cover less than 3 acres of water, several use more than 50 acres of water area. As with any agricultural enterprise, the type of product a farmer grows influences the methods and facilities used. Aquaculture products are grown in different types of water facilities, from a variety of man-made ponds and tanks to bays and underwater coastal lands leased to farmers by the state. The farming facilities used are licensed by the state of Florida and must follow strict guidelines known as best management practices specific to their product. Aquariums and outdoor ponds have provided beauty and tranquility for centuries. It's estimated that over 15 million households in the U.S. keep fish as pets. So it should come as no surprise that tropical fish are the #1 farm-raised aquatic product in Florida, accounting for more than 40% of Florida's total aquaculture sales. In fact, Florida is the leading producer of aquarium fish in the U.S. Tropical fish farmers can produce a variety of freshwater and saltwater fish, though many choose to focus on a specific type. Varieties range from goldfish and koi to angelfish and cichlids, and each must be raised in separate tanks and fed their own special food. Since tropical fish grow well in warmer water, most of Florida's tropical fish farms are located in Central and South Florida below the state's freeze line. While many growers use outdoor tanks and ponds to raise their tropical fish, some larger growers use climate-controlled indoor facilities. Most tropical fish farms draw water from wells and use sophisticated recirculation, filtration, and heating and cooling systems. This keeps the water oxygenated, bacteria-free, and at proper temperatures. When they are ready for sale, the fish are put in water-filled plastic bags packed in insulated boxes. Because fish are a live product, the speed of packing and shipping is crucial, and they are transported by overnight air express to the wholesaler or retailer. Many aquaculture farmers choose to grow only aquatic plants. Live aquatic plants are farmed for a variety of uses, like aquariums, water gardening, wetland restoration, and food markets. The water garden industry is a fast-growing segment of the lawn and garden market. Aquatic plants add natural beauty to aquariums and outdoor ponds while helping to provide additional oxygen for the fish, clarify the water, and speed up production of beneficial bacteria in a newly established aquarium. Florida is one of the few places in the United States that can grow aquatic plants year-round. With more than 100 varieties in production, choices range from beautiful water lilies to non-flowering pond plants and many types of green, variegated, and colorful aquarium plants. Many new and exciting aquatic plant varieties are grown in hydroponic greenhouses and outdoor tanks, primarily in Central and South Florida. Beneath the coastal waters of Florida lies another multi-million-dollar aquaculture industry: farm-raised Florida hard clams. Clam farming has been around since the late 1970s, and today there are nearly 400 certified Florida clam farmers. Clam production begins in the hatchery. There are about 10 certified commercial hatcheries in Florida producing about 1 billion clam seeds annually. The seed is raised to a larger size for planting in nurseries before finally being placed in mesh bags for planting. The bags are submerged in coastal or estuary beds. These shellfish harvesting areas are administered, monitored, and managed by the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Aquaculture Lease Program. The growing time from seed to harvest, referred to as grow-out, is approximately 15 to 18 months. To make them available year-round, clams are planted in incremental stages and harvested periodically. Since grow-out occurs in open water, clams have a positive impact on the environment by filtering the surrounding water when feeding on algae. Once the crop is harvested, the clams are prepared for market. Certified wholesalers wash, sort, and grade the fresh clams by size. Then the clams are counted, tagged, and packaged. And since clams are generally sold live, they are delivered to the marketplace in refrigerated trucks. Tilapia, catfish, pompano, carp, hybrid striped bass. These food fish have been farm-raised in Florida for decades. Today, nearly 50 Florida aquaculture farms raise one or more of these species. The process usually begins by raising the young fish, referred to as fingerlings, in outdoor ponds and circular tanks, as well as in rectangular containers called raceways. The timing of the harvest depends on the fish, its size, and growth rate. When the fish reaches a marketable size, it's harvested and shipped on the same day to wholesalers, retailers, and restaurants to maintain freshness. Water used in these operations is circulated through a variety of filters before ultimately flowing back to the aquifer. Like their wild counterparts, farm-raised aquatic food products are naturally low in saturated fats, cholesterol and calories, and high in protein, vitamins, and minerals. They contain omega-3 fatty acids that can help prevent heart disease and lower blood pressure. Farm-raised aquatic food is not only nutritious and healthy, it's safe. To ensure its wholesomeness, the industry is also monitored and regulated by government agencies like the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Once hunted to the brink of extinction, the American alligator is one of Florida aquaculture's greatest success stories. The establishment of alligator farms and other land and wildlife management programs has created controlled conditions for raising alligators. Since 1986, the farming and harvesting of the alligator and the sale of alligator products have protected endangered wild alligators and allowed the population to increase. Raising this reptilian livestock begins with the egg. While some eggs come from farm-raised alligator broodstock, most of the eggs come from the wild. Each June and July, Florida wildlife officials issue permits to alligator farms to collect eggs, which are taken to farms and hatched in incubators. The hatchlings typically break out of their shells in late August or September, then are placed in temperature-controlled grow-out houses. To reach their preferred size of 4.5 to 5 feet, the young alligators require an environment that includes clean, warm water. Normally, alligators are ready to harvest within 18 to 24 months, but that can vary based on growth rate and market demand. Alligator farming is very efficient, All of the alligator can be marketed and sold with little or no waste. The hides are the most profitable product from the alligator because each item is unique and has its own distinct markings. Generally, the leather produced from the hides is used to make high-end fashion items such as jackets, briefcases, luggage, and furniture upholstery. High in protein and low in cholesterol, alligator is marketed as an exotic meat. Sold to retailers and restaurants, it comes in many forms, including ground, cubed, ribs, and sausage. Even the feet, teeth, and heads of the alligator are used, made into novelty items, and primarily sold at tourist attractions. Aquaculture is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. In Florida, it's providing more than beautiful aquarium fish, plants, and fresh healthy seafood. It's providing jobs. In a state with a rich agricultural past, farming and water is quickly finding its place in Florida's future. Aquaculture, farming's next exciting frontier.
The program you are about to see is directly related to the health and welfare of this child, and one day, her children. The idea is as basic as squeezing out this washcloth and using the water again. We're going to talk about the state of our state's water supply and what's being done today to preserve Florida's most precious natural resource. There is a solution that will provide a reliable supply for her future. Water reclamation is a proven answer to an escalating problem. Hundreds of families just like this one relocate to Florida every day, drawn to our rivers and streams, our natural beauty, and of course the hundreds of miles of beaches that frame the Sunshine State from the Atlantic to the Gulf of Mexico. As our population continues to increase, protecting our precious water resources is a real concern to many Floridians. That's why we're taking important steps now to conserve every drop. Currently, most of us rely on a supply of safe, fresh drinking water from Florida's aquifer. Not only for our health and welfare, for all of the many and varied reasons we choose to live here. The demand on our finite drinking water supply is constant and increasing. Doesn't it make sense to explore new ways now to help us at least meet our non-drinking water needs? Fortunately, we've found a way to conserve our drinking water resource by reusing another water source.
Reuse has the opportunity to conserve precious water supplies while also, to some extent, recharging groundwater and other water resources. It simply makes a lot of sense for the state of Florida.
The method is simple and expands upon existing technology. Instead of treating wastewater to an acceptable standard only to release it back into surface waters, many communities are going a step further and treating the water to a higher standard. The process is referred to as water reclamation, and the product is known simply as reclaimed water.
It allows more highly treated water, what we would call potable water, to be used for that purpose. Obviously there's an economic benefit, there's also just a quantity benefit. Water is in short supply, it's impacting the quality of life in some Florida cities. It's important to use it as best possible and to not put any more money into treating it than is necessary for its use.
There are several benefits to water reclamation. It's a proven, cost-effective, long-term solution which produces significant results in many Florida communities.
To me, the greatest thing is the reclaimed water. We don't have to use fresh water. We're saving that for our state, and that means a lot to all of us here. It's just a great way to go to help our community as well as to save some money.
It provides a supply of reclaimed water for residential, commercial, and agricultural needs.
I think the major advantage is a reliable, free supply of water. Extremely beneficial in this era of restrictions. The water is good for irrigation as well as cold protection. To have it available on a cold night is a big benefit. In addition, the water is safe.
And water reclamation is an effective way to conserve our potable or drinking water resource.
Why put drinking water quality on lawns, golf courses, recreational areas when we have a good quality reuse water that right now is not being fully utilized, being discharged to our rivers and bays?
Water reclamation programs will assure a drinking water supply for future generations.
You're not using the high quality product you really need to reserve for drinking water purposes. You're using a spent product, you're recovering it and using it again. It's recycling.
Let's look at how and where the water flows to see why our water supply is so precious. Remarkably, the Earth has virtually the same amount of water today as it did when dinosaurs existed. 97% is salt, 3% is fresh, of which 2/3 is ice. So if all the Earth's water fit into a gallon jug, available fresh water would equal a little more than a tablespoon. Of that, just a tiny drop is potable drinking water. Plainly, the water problem is a global one. Florida is not alone in facing this difficult challenge. But just like parts of the rest of the country and the world, our population continues to increase, especially along the coast.
Commencing with the 60s and then through the 70s, there was a great migration into Florida, actually 1,000 people a day, and coastal Pinellas County. People were greatly attracted to come to Pinellas County and make their new homes. We're talking about a county that has very little water available for development as a potable water supply. So this necessitated some innovative thinking to meet the needs of our community.
In Florida, geological and population factors combine to make our state's water supply one needing special consideration and protection.
Florida appears to have abundant water resources. As a state, we receive an average of something on the order of 55 inches of rainfall a year, but a relatively small percentage of that is available for actual use within the normal hydrologic cycle. And coupled with the fact that our population, for the most part, is located in the coastal area, where our water resources are much more limited, we are experiencing water shortages and will continue to experience water shortages as we move into the future. Efforts towards conserving and reusing that precious water resource are of critical importance to the state.
To better understand the fluctuation of water availability throughout Florida, it helps to have a working knowledge of the hydrologic cycle. It is this natural condensation and evaporation process that keeps our water supply relatively balanced. But factors associated with population growth dramatically influence the level at any given time. To visualize the hydrologic cycle in action, imagine the state of Florida as a pitcher. At the bottom of the pitcher is a sponge, which represents the state's underground aquifer, upon which 60% of the residents depend for fresh water. Now, over the course of a year, billions of gallons of rainwater fill the pitcher, and an equal amount evaporates, except for a small fraction which actually reaches the aquifer. The process is balanced. With 12 million residents and 41 million annual visitors in need of fresh water, it's easy to see how the scale quickly becomes unbalanced. Furthermore, irrigation demands on Florida's aquifer and freshwater lakes and rivers create other sources for fluctuation.
Our concern in balancing the hydrologic cycle is not only to maintain the standard of or quality of living that we have right now, that what people expect to see, but the hydrologic cycle goes beyond just water supply. It impacts our wetlands, the fish and wildlife benefits that we enjoy, and it starts getting into the areas that we've grown accustomed to in terms of recreation values and what we enjoy doing.
As the demand for potable water continues to rise with Florida's increasing population, it's important to consider our options. Water reclamation is not new. Various applications of water reclamation have been implemented throughout Florida since the mid-1960s. St. Petersburg pioneered urban reuse for the state.
We've proven it can be done. It can be done safely. It's a valuable product, and we consider it in St. Petersburg our third water supply. We own well fields. We buy water from a water supply authority, and then thirdly, we satisfy many of our own needs through recycling to meet the irrigation needs of the community. Without recycled water, we literally couldn't meet the needs, the water demands of our community at this time.
It has proved to be extremely beneficial to us in a financial sense. We use it for the grounds, we use it for the cooling towers.
Common applications for reclaimed water around St. Petersburg include its availability for industrial use and fire protection. The fire department relies on its abundance for both large-scale training operations and everyday firefighting.
Having these hydrants placed around in different areas, in addition to the main hydrants, is an insurance benefit to consumers because, once again, having water available that we can use more readily in those neighborhoods are going to cut down on the overall fire loss.
In a unique arrangement, Pinellas County is actually in the business of wholesaling reclaimed water to other municipalities.
This is a great benefit to those cities that may not have their own source of reclaimed water, so that they can implement and start their own reclaimed water systems. And our program, the Contributions in Aid of Construction program, assists these communities by providing financial assistance for them to complete and build their own reclaimed water systems within their city.
Water which meets all the criteria for reuse is called reclaimed water. Common usage by category looks something like this. Even with nearly 290 million gallons of reclaimed water a day currently being produced for reuse, the industry has never had a health-related problem. A color coding and identification system, along with site inspection and cross-connection control programs, further ensure and maintain safety and integrity.
Our disease monitoring system, we call it our epidemiological system, tracks certain types of illnesses that are reportable. We have not seen any diseases in our investigations that we can associate with reuse.
And in fact, our rules largely served as the basis for some of the national guidelines that have been developed for reuse of reclaimed water. Our permitting program, the monitoring and compliance enforcement activities associated with reuse also contribute to ensuring safety of the overall reuse program.
Another component of the total recycling picture. Here's how to use it again, Florida. With several hundred reuse projects underway throughout the state, the concept of water reclamation is beginning to gain acceptance.
I think for a lot of us it was a deal maker. It was the deciding factor in staying in business in this area. Freezes in the 80s and the freeze of December of '89, it killed an awful lot of trees around here. And those of us on Conserve 2 had young trees that made it through that freeze, and we were able to bring them on. They're the size of the trees you see here now. They're now producing, and we're back in business.
In an Orlando and Orange County partnership, a special water reclamation program benefits both the citrus growers and the groundwater resource. Reclaimed water not needed for irrigation is sent to infiltration basins for ultimate dispersion to the aquifer.
The benefits of this program, both to the county and city, obviously it provides us capacity for growth in our area, and obviously we're experiencing quite a lot of that. Certainly there's tremendous benefits to the agricultural community out here in West Orange County and East Lake County. Certainly the benefit that we provide from a groundwater recharge standpoint is very positive, and the other side of that, obviously, from the grower's standpoint, they don't have to take water out of the ground to irrigate the groves.
Commercial reuse irrigation projects are flourishing too. Walt Disney World uses 2 million gallons of reclaimed water a day to nourish thousands of acres of golf courses and landscapes. The Don Cesar Beach Resort and Spa banks its 4-star reputation on the immaculate condition of award-winning grounds and lush gardens.
We really haven't experienced any adverse effects. We base everything based upon guest comments, guest complaints, and to date we have not received one comment concerning that.
Florida's neighborhoods and golf courses are relying on a constant supply of high-quality reclaimed water. They rank among the best conditioned in the country.
We use a million gallons a night on the island here. You know, that's an average. what little bit amount of money we have to pay for the reclaimed water is minimal, because if we had to try to get potable water, it would be almost impossible to get that much water to do what we need to do out here. Things would never look nowhere near like they do.
In another beautification effort, Orange County is using reclaimed water to both establish and re-nourish wetland habitats, fostering the growth of indigenous vegetation and wildlife. The county also supplies reclaimed water to the Orlando Utilities Commission's 1,000 megawatt Curtis Stanton Energy Center for use in the generation of electricity.
They produce the same quality water whether they're giving it to us or whether they're overflowing it to the wetlands. So, it's a pretty reliable source of good quality influent water, which we use for our cooling water processes here.
The area has realized several environmental benefits since the early 1980s, including vast improvement of a nearby tributary and flourishing wetlands.
One of the other benefits beside improving the quality of the Conowalhatchee River that this wetland has solved is also the benefit it gives to the wildlife community. We have more than a dozen endangered and threatened species of wildlife that make this area their home. Again, this is an area that is designated for this type of use, and will continue to be a home and safe haven for those type of animals.
Utilizing reclaimed water to augment dwindling natural supplies has the extra benefit of keeping a natural Florida environment alive. As the state's population continues to grow into the 21st century, the outlook for more water reuse projects is positive.
It really is an integral part of our efforts towards ecosystem management within the department. I think we're going to see increased interest in reuse, increased interest in indirect potable reuse, taking reclaimed water, treating it to a very high level, and very high levels of disinfection, and using the water to augment the supply, either through surface waters or groundwaters, for drinking water purposes.
Because if we don't support reuse, it's our children's children who'll pay the price.